So anyone who's watched this show over the last several months knows that I don't necessarily agree with Hillary Clinton on a great number of policy issues, and I don't love the way that she ran her campaign in the primaries. On the other hand, that doesn't mean that all the attacks against her are right. In fact, I've said this throughout, in the past, the right-wing attacks against her have usually been absurd, preposterous, and totally false on many occasions. So here we are again, because now the establishment believes that it is Hillary Clinton versus Donald Trump. And certainly on the right-wing side, Donald Trump is the presumptive Republican nominee. And since he doesn't have to deal with any other Republicans, he can now turn his attention to Hillary Clinton. And so the smears have begun. So there's an article out in the New York Post. I'm not going to give you a lot of details about it because my assessment of the article, and again, I'm not a fan of Hillary Clinton. Anybody who watches the show knows that. My assessment of the article is that it is totally fabricated. Almost every cycle, an article like this comes out. I've been covering politics for 20 years. It'll be attributed to anonymous sources within the Secret Service. And then they will get to plant whatever hideous things that they think will smear their opponent. And it's almost, of course, almost always Republicans that are doing it to Democrats who've had Secret Service protection. And it'll be in the form of, oh, this is how she treated the Secret Service, right? Now, I didn't say it about her. In fact, you don't know anybody who said it about her because they're all completely and utterly anonymous. But what can I do? Well, the stuff's out there now. This is how she is. She has no ability to refute it, and it's swift-boating her. So you can tell even in the pictures. Okay, so let me show you one of the pictures the New York Post showed, right, in the midst of this article. Look at that picture. It makes her look crazed. So now, when Republicans complain about a picture about Michelle Bachmann looking crazed on a magazine cover, we said on this program, they're right. That picture did look crazed, and I think that it was picked on purpose to make her look like that, and that wasn't fair. So you begin to get a sense of, now obviously that's a small sense of it. You got to read the whole article. I did. Now I don't want to share all the smears with you guys because that only helps their cause, right? But I'll give you a sense of the things that were red flags for me. That made me go, oh, this isn't real at all, right? So one is, again, that I've seen this type of attack over and over again. It's not a new way of smearing someone. And then it would have this kind of description, that she was, quote, an epically abusive Arctic monster. Really? A Secret Service person said that? Okay, no. That's the old, oh, she's an ice queen. And almost everything in this article was meant to trigger men and whoever they feel slighted them that was a woman in their life. Oh, she was cold and cruel and ice monster and manipulative. See, this is why, part of the reason why I didn't like the way Hillary Clinton ran her campaign in the primary, because they cried wolf on charges of sexism against Bernie Sanders, the most liberal senator of our lifetimes, who wouldn't tolerate sexism remotely. But you were going to run against a real sexist in the general election if you got past the primary. That guy's a monster. You think he's going to stoop, that he's not going to stoop to new lows? You think he's not going to use sexism? In this article, they threw every sexist trope out there that they could find. Arctic monster. Come on, here. And then preposterous things like this from a so-called former Secret Service agent. Quote, if Hillary was walking down a hall, you were supposed to hide behind drapes used as partitions. Yeah, they would tell the Secret Service, hide behind a curtain if Hillary Clinton was coming. Preposterous. None of it is true. And look, I'll give you more context too as to why I know it's not the case. Trump has well-known hitmen like Roger Stone on his team. Roger Stone is the guy who bragged about all the details he made up about Elliot Spitzer's affair. Elliot Spitzer did have an affair, but Stone put in extra details to further humiliate and embarrass him and then laughed about it later saying, ha ha, I made those up. And now he's doing the same for Donald Trump. The New York Post is run and owned by Rupert Murdoch, News Corp, who I don't know if you know this, they also own Fox News, not a big fan of the Clintons, right? So here it comes again. The thing that Hillary Clinton was right about, the right-wing attack machine. They shouldn't have cried wolf in the primaries. Okay, I'm past it, right? And I'm telling you right now that don't believe this nonsense that they're putting out there. You got to be able to distinguish between real criticism, legitimate criticism that's based on policies, and smears that are done by a right-wing attack machine. And this is definitely one of those.